Hey, what's up? I got some more Riftbound content for you guys. So this is probably going to be a short video, but I wanted to make a tier list talking about the general power level of each of the colors in Riftbound, comparing and contrasting them while using the tier list as a sort of guide for what I think are the best colors for Origins. And I might even revisit this tier list in the future as more sets come out. But of course, before we get into it, I'm going to start by saying the disclaimers. So I will be talking about general power level in a vacuum. For example, I won't be taking color combos into consideration. I feel like that's a whole nother tier list for another day, but I will touch on how good it feels to combo with these colors while borrowing their tools. I mainly want to highlight the strongest parts of each color, along with taking into consideration the rest of the collection it has to offer as a whole. And of course, at the end of the day, this is still a subjective tier list. It will consist of my opinions and my perception of power. It's meant to be a fun discussion along with some context, and maybe why a few certain champs might be a little too good. Kaisa. And with that, let's get into it and talk about the first color, red. So I'm just going to go ahead and put it in S tier and then yap about it. This is immediately going to be my bias talking, but I think on release red is probably one of the coolest base set colors or regions or land type, whatever you want to call it, for any on release game. There are so many core identities that get to flourish in just one color, and yeah, some are overtuned, which is why it's an S tier, but to have a color that contains aggro, damage removal, discard, and big dudes that support ramp all in base set is just really cool to me. Like, there's so much variety. But yeah, talking about some of these standout cards, the main ones that come to mind are Falling Star and the Darius Cleave combo. Falling Star is insane, especially in the context of Kaisa being able to cheat one of its recycle costs and doing a ton of damage and killing key units, while also dodging Defy since its recycle cost is 2. The only way to deal with this card is the much more costly Wind Wall if you're playing green, buff cards that get you outside of the 6 damage range, or of course, Deflect, making the red player not want to target your unit at all. If you don't have any of these, or the runes to play any of these, you're basically SOL. I've actually seen here and there that Falling Star is being regarded as overrated, and I'm sure people thought Ravenous Flock and Disintegrate were overrated in lore too. That doesn't stop them from blowing out your strategy when resolved at the right moment. Darius and Cleave are also really strong, like I mentioned. It's a 2-card, 6 mana, recycle 1 combo to come into a battlefield with at least 10 might. That's a crazy swing. But yeah, I want to reiterate that the main reason red is in the top tier is due to the fact that every deck that borrows red is super happy and has plenty of tools to use from just this one color. Tons of options, tons of variety. All of it's good. That's Red's slogan. Trademark that and put it on a t-shirt. Moving on to the next color that I want to talk about, and that is orange. It's probably impossible to talk about this color without first addressing the elephant in the room, and that is Aurora. Unfortunately, this is not a card or deck tier list, this is a color tier list, which means I need to take the entire collection of cards into consideration. That being said, I'm going to put orange firmly in A tier. I think with the gimmick nature of the color and the lack of insane standout cards would actually put it in B tier for me, but Aurora and the ramp cards carry a lot of weight and are an S tier strategy, so simple math averages it down to A tier. I actually really like that War Mothers has been essentially transformed into a landmark for this game, since it's a gear instead of a spell. Sorry, I'm getting into Legends of Runeterra talk a little bit, but in lore, once you resolve War Mothers, you get a unit every round start. However, in Riftbound, it's a round end effect, which makes it a lot worse, since the unit won't impact the board right away, and you can't attack with it the turn it comes out, outside of like Dead Bloom and Snapvine, which are really strong by the way. But since it's a gear, you can tech accordingly and use gear removal if you have access to it, slowing down the Aurora strategy a ton. It's like fighting Sunken Temple. Once it resolves 3 or more times, you've basically lost the game. Some of the other standout cards are the buff synergy cards, the damage plus Warwick combo, Kiana herself, and honestly, Unyielding Spirit is a really good tech card versus damage removal. And while all these cards are good, I just don't think they're on the same level as red or the other regions that I'm going to put in S tier. Ooh, next up we have green. This color is so premium it hurts. I'm putting it in S tier right away. It just does things none of the other colors can do, like, oh I don't know, countering spells. Defy and Windwall don't even hard carry this region like Aurora carries orange, because green also has access to premium buffs in the form of Unguard for 1 and Discipline for 2 while drawing another card. It also has Charm, which is a fancy word for kill spell, also for 1, albeit you have to recycle and the opponent has a chance to react, but when used in the right circumstance, it's such a strong win more card. Blitzcrank also does the same thing. But the major themes are basically defensive reactive plays on top of strong bodies that punish the opponent for being proactive, and then flipping a switch while using win more cards that basically seal the deal on the game. And of course, just like with red, Literally every deck that borrows green is so happy. You look at the collection and just go, damn, I get all this? Don't mind if I do. Alright, it's time to talk about purple and why I'm giving it a tier all to itself. Let me just put it right there real quick. So let's talk about the good first, because I'm in a good mood. The good is Teemo, right? Absolutely trying to hard carry this color solo, and Nocturne being really sick as well, albeit an RNG effect. Okay, Kayn is really strong, albeit cheesy, but the rest of the color is so confused. Move as a concept is absolutely clogging, or should I say plaguing, this color, and taking up most of the power budget for Origins. And to do what? What happens to the champs that are forced to be purple and don't want to use 90% of the color? Just like how I mentioned some decks are so happy using red and green, well, purple is the exact opposite. You're so sad being in this color unless you're all-inning the main identity, and again, to do what? Jump through hoops to achieve the bare minimum results that other colors are capable of with much simpler and much more reliable concepts? Like, I can see the strengths in some of the combos and the casual viability of some of the fun cheese it brings to the table, but it just doesn't compare to what I'm now dubbing as the Big Three in S tier. Which is a flawless segue to the next color, and that is blue, heading straight to the S tier to fill out the Big Three. This color is on crack, by the way, and also has Time Warp. Shout out to any Quest Mage players in Hearthstone from back in the day. Pretty much anything this color does goes neutral or positive, with the amount of innate card draw packed into it. On top of incredible removal cards, sneaky reactive plays, and one of the single strongest tempo swing units this game will ever see. I actually want to bring up Teemo again since I just talked about him for purple, and it's sad to say it like this, but blue is definitely his better half. Same overall vibe as red and green, anyone borrowing from this region should feel happy looking at everything. It's one of those utility and value-based collections that feels like there's too many good options compared to not enough. All in all, everything plays really well together, yet it's self-sufficient, and it also synergizes really well with other colors. And finally, that brings us to yellow. This color is the entire reason that the B tier exists, so I might as well stop stalling and just put it in there. To me, on-release yellow is not top tier, but it's also definitely not terrible. Honestly, it fits pretty perfectly between orange and purple. Orange having Aurora is what separates them ever so slightly. Yellow is like one abusable card away from A tier, to be honest. It's pretty okay as the tier denotes. I mainly want to highlight its kill spells, those being Hidden Blade, Call the Weak, and Vengeance, able to really efficiently deal with large units that other colors simply can't. It also has the best gear removal in the game, being a solid counter to Aurora. Another really good card is Call to Glory, being the nastiest combat trick in the game in my opinion. 0 mana +3 is pretty annoying to have to play around. The token units are very okay, definitely strong when utilized by Victor compared to Lux or Garen for example. I'd say the buff spells in general are solid, and Grand Stratagem is a very strong card, reminiscent of For Demacia, or even the dreaded Champion Strength from lore. All of this definitely adds up to an okay assessment. None of it is really outstanding, but some decks are pretty happy being in yellow, so I'm gonna stay firm on that placement. I want to wrap up this video with a small discussion. These are mainly just the ramblings of a crazy old man card gamer, but I'm assuming purple is going to be the first to get tons of support in a way that changes its identity. I actually think this color can be broken in 1 or 2 years time. It just feels like an afterthought for base set, mainly being support for Yasuo, and then some extra discard stuff for Jinx because they just happen to be here while doing also vastly different things. So this overall feels like it ate a lot of the budget for the collection of purple. I'm also wondering if they're going to add spell denial to other colors, because in lore, Ionia started off as the premier counterspell region, and even to this day it does it the best. But eventually Shurima came in with Rite of Negation. Speaking of which, I don't think Shurima has a region all to themselves yet. I made a lore region to Riftbound color comparison guide, and that was the sole region I felt like doesn't have a clear color yet. I wonder if it's going to be a tacked on identity to an existing color like yellow or blue, which could very well be Azir's colors if he comes out. Oh, that sounds like a fun video. Let me know if you'd like me to make a video guessing champion colors in advance. It's a shame to say, but I took League seriously for the better part of 10 years, even hitting Master Tier back in Season 9. But don't worry, I'm sober now. I'm sober. But I do know most of the champs and their stories, so I think it'd be really fun to theory craft. And that's it for this one. Extra shout out to the patrons on screen. Much love and thank you for supporting. What do you think of the placements? Am I sleeping on move, or am I overvaluing blue? Let me know in the comments below. I read all the comments and there's more I want to cover, so I'll be making more videos soon. With that, please leave a like to support the content. I also stream on Twitch. Check me out over there for live gameplay. I plan on doing community Riftbound tournaments in my Discord server as well, so feel free to join in to catch those events and also when I go live or post videos. Thank you so much for watching and have a good one. Laters!